Happy Saturday, foodie friends, grain-free VIPs. Welcome to today's Slice of the Grain-Free Lifestyle episode. This is Nina Blake, the Grain-Free Lifestyle Coach, coming to you live to talk to you about how to keep from getting bored with the limited options of your grain-free, allergy-friendly menu. Oh my goodness, it is so easy to get bored. And as you are being notified that I am live, could you just say hello in the comments here? And I want to do a quick tech check to make sure that things are working. Let's see. Oh, good. We got our tech check. I'm using some new tech this week. I'm using from my iPhone with Zoom. Everything is happening. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for being here with me and for being patient. Okay. So, the goal of our conversation today is for you to have some strategies to keep you from getting bored. I'm going to need some props. Okay. All right. So we are going to talk about 4 things that you can do. Some of them immediately today, and others are goals to work towards. But let me tell you, these goals are amazing. If you can work towards these goals, anytime you're bored, you can start adding fresh flavor and more variety to your table. And that's what we want. We want to be able to eat like normal. So, are you ready to do this? Okay. Strategy 1 is going to be eating seasonally. And you're like, Nina, that's easy. Hold up. Okay. Then I'm going to encourage you to lean into flavor, not food. Then I'm going to ask you to find inspiration from safe sources. Easy enough, right? And then fourth and final is learn to break a recipe. So anytime that you are bored and you're going, oh, I really wish I could have that again. That happens to me when I'm out to dinner with friends. Even though I've been grain free for 12 years, I'm still out to dinner with friends. Like, I really would like to eat that. I bet I could make it. And then 2 weeks later, I'm enjoying a food that I thought was previously off the menu. And that is what I want for you, to be able to add new foods back to your table so that you are no longer bored. So let's start with eating seasonally. Okay, it's a great time of year for seasonal eating. It's the easiest time of year for seasonal eating at my house because the farmers markets are finally open. They don't open until June in New England, and it can kind of be a drag to, have the same stuff again and again. But at the farmers market, when I'm eating seasonally, I always get encouraged to try new foods that I never would have tried before. What do I mean? This week, a farmer told me that I was buying golden beets. Do these look golden to you? But I don't know, maybe it was the light. I don't know. I was like, okay, they looked kind of golden in the light. But what I got was a surprise. Let me find the one that I had cut open. Maybe I'll just grab a cutting board. Okay. Can you see the bottom of this beet? This is not a golden beet. It is a striped beet. I had seen these in the seed catalogs and I was so excited. We even tried planting them, but the squirrels and chipmunks ate my beets. And so now I have this wonderful, happy little surprise of this. I'm going to call it a candy cane beet because I don't know what the technical name of it is, but this beautiful striped beet that I get to add. And of course, the beet greens went into my soup, right? So now why do we eat seasonally? After the surprise factor, right? That's always good. But eating seasonally means that our body is in sync with the sun, right? Our body knows it's summertime. Our body feels more tired in the winter, more awake in the summer. Our body knows it's summertime. And so if we are eating foods that are in season, it's easier on our digestion. And my naturopath can talk to you about it more, but I know that eating in season is much more nutritious for us. And if you can't eat in season, at least eat foods that are native to your local area. So no, squashes do not grow in my local area in Connecticut in February, but I'm going to eat butternut and honey nut squash because they grew in my local area. And you can root cellar those foods and whatnot if you want. But eating locally, eating seasonally, a great way to change things up because not going to have beets for a while, right? You'll have that built-in variety into your menu. And if you freeze the foods that are local when they are in season, they're much more nutritious when you take them out of the freezer. Even if you do thaw them in January or February, they're still much more nutritious because they were grown locally, picked at their peak, and you can't get any fresher than that, even when they freeze them. So the next one, lean into flavor, not food. What is your favorite flavor? And if, I'm sorry, I didn't ask you to say hello. If you are watching live or watching the replay, could you please say hello in the chat? And that way I can reach out and thank all of you because it means so much that you are here with me every Saturday enjoying some slices of the grain-free lifestyle. What else did I want to say? Oh, I know. We are talking about leaning into flavor, not food. What's your favorite flavor? In our house, cheese is an amazing flavor. The texture, the stretchiness, we love it. Just one problem. We don't have only a grain allergy. We have a grain and a dairy allergy. We have a big list of allergies. So in our house, the allergy list is apples, almonds, bananas, beef, blueberries, cassava, corn, dairy, eggs, all grains, all of them. Peas, pork, potatoes, soy, pineapple, oranges, sweet potato, sunflower, active yeast, benzoic acid, and lectins. And if you're thinking, Nina, what do you eat? Beets and water? No, 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 no. We do eat a lot more than just beets and water. As a matter of fact, we have a very robust menu. And one of my VIPs, she says, Nina, you're always eating in front of us. Well, how am I going to talk to you about eating a delicious, grain-free, allergy-friendly lifestyle if I don't show you the food? So last night, I baked up this beautiful mac and cheese. Isn't it gorgeous? This is a grain-free, dairy-free, all the frees that I mentioned earlier, mac and cheese. And I'm going to heat some up so that we can talk about leaning into flavor, not technically the food. So get myself a bowl. Now, at our house, we are limited on our proteins. What do I mean that we're limited on our proteins? I mean lectins. Can't have them. My husband gets so sick when lectins are part of his menu. We just get sick, so we can't have them. I don't even want them in the house because I'm terrified that some chickpea flour will get accidentally into his menu and that he'll get sick, right? So when we lean into flavor, not necessarily the food, specifically the protein, I've got so many more options. So the proteins that are safe for both of us are turkey, chicken, fish, and that is pretty much it. Super limited. So by leaning into flavor, using sauces and seasonings and flavors like cheese, we can expand our menu. We do eat more fish than we used to. And so with one recipe, for example, just a little bit of mayonnaise and some seasonings, I can change the seasoning. I can change the fish, and then we're not bored, right? We use a purposeful rotation so that we're not having the same thing every week. Growing up, meatloaf was a staple in our house. It's still a staple in my house these days. But do you know how often we have meatloaf? Maybe twice a month. I batch cook that meatloaf. I'll make two, but one goes in the freezer for another time. And that's a shortcut for me. And we're not going to get bored by having meatloaf forever. One suggestion I have for you is when you feel like you're bored with that food, freeze it for another time and go to something that is more enjoyable for you. Your kids will be happier, you'll be happier because you're doing so much work, right? If you're like, Nina, how do you know? Well, you're here. Chances are you're avoiding grains and multiple allergens, and that has an intense workload, right? So that's how I know that you're working really hard and you want the best for your family. So let's take a look at how we lean into flavor with this mac and cheese. Oh, I need to clean that microwave cover. Now, this mac and cheese is made with homemade lectin-free pasta. I can't wait to share that recipe. The recipe is going to go to my VIP recipe box. VIPs, I've already shared a draft with you. Let's get fork. Okay. So I've already shared a draft recipe with my VIPs, but this mac and cheese uses the easy cheese sauce that you've probably seen. I know I've made it live before, but you've probably seen it on my website. You might have even seen me make it live. And so I use my easy cheese sauce or my easy cheese powder. Then I use my lectin-free pasta, and then I use my liquid cheddar cheese. Now, cheese isn't the only flavor in this mac and cheese. I put in some leftover barbecue chicken. So I've got that nice rich barbecue, a really spicy and sweet barbecue, combined with the wonderful flavor of the cheese. Now, can you ever have too much cheese? Well, if you have a dairy allergy, yes. But when it's safe for us to have dairy-free cheese, all of a sudden, adding a little cheese changes everything, right? Lean into that flavor. Grab a bag of cassava tortilla chips and throw some liquid mozzarella on it. Throw some liquid cheddar, right? The possibilities are endless when you break a recipe. By leaning into flavor, all of a sudden, so many more options are available. Let's say I get bored with this, because that's going to happen. You know it is. I could swap out the chicken for turkey. I actually have a frozen lobster in my freezer. So I could put the lobster in here and make a lobster mac and cheese, which I think I might do. Right? So we've talked about eating seasonally. We've talked about leaning into flavor, not food. The next thing we're going to talk about is find a safe source of inspiration. We all have cookbooks, but most of those cookbooks don't meet our dietary needs. If they did, you wouldn't be here. So you want to find a safe source of inspiration. Might be a web, might be a nutritionist, might be my food blog. And you want to find some place where that when you go there, everything or mostly everything that's there is safe for you, because then it's really quick. It's personalized, right? And some of my VIPs do an amazing job at this. They have created an entire safe source of inspiration for their children so that they have the binder that this is your safe recipe binder. They'll print out all my PDFs of the recipes. They'll put them right in that binder. Okay, buddy, you can have whatever you want from here. You want cheeseburger sliders? No problem. You want sweet ginger chicken? You want donuts? You want mac and cheese? What do you want today? You want coconut caramel breakfast bars? Chicken nuggets? And they're all in that binder. All those safe recipes. And I know my awesome VA Rose, thank you so much for being here with me, Rose. Rose is going to put just a little link in our chat so that if you want to take a tour of the VIP recipe box with me, you can do that. So use that link. We'll take a tour. I'll show you what it is, and we can talk about if it's a good fit to work together. Now, the last and my favorite thing, and full disclosure, this last one takes the most work, but it is where the true joy in eating is. At least I think it's where it is. Breaking recipes. What do I mean? Well, I mean that when you take a recipe apart and you put it back the way you want, you get exactly what you were hoping to eat. And that's what I want for you. I want you and your family to have exactly what you were hoping to eat. So how do you make that happen? If you're grain-free, dairy-free, egg-free, soy-free, corn-free, you've got to start by learning about the ingredients that are safe for you and how they work together. And of course, that's what I teach my VIPs. And then we look at a recipe and we break that recipe and we say, how can we take this recipe, which by the way contains grains, dairy, eggs. Maybe it has corn, maybe it doesn't, maybe it has a few other allergens. And how can we add this back to your table so that you can enjoy it? And I want to give a shout out to the OG VIP, Anna Goslin. Auntie Anna, thank you, Auntie. Auntie was the first one who encouraged me to break a recipe that we already had, our traditional Christmas Eve dinner. And we did it together where we used our grain-free flour blend to fry smelts and to fry eels. And then I brought the breadcrumbs so that we could stuff our squid. And it is possible. It is absolutely possible. So I want you to think of the one recipe that would just change your life if you could enjoy it again. Is it your grandmother's pierogies? I've helped a client do that. Is it donuts, where your child's going to have a tower of donuts on their birthday? Is it cornbread dressing? Now we know corn is a grain, it's off the list. Maybe there's another way that we can get that flavor there for you. So use my calendar link, and that way we can see if we can transform your grain-free dreams into reality. Okay, so what are our 4 ways that we can stop from getting bored and that cycle of boredom with our grain-free, allergy-friendly menu? We're going to eat seasonally, and we're going to enjoy foods that are available seasonally, like these really cool candy cane beets that I'm going to grill today. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to try and eat locally, right? Eat foods that at least come from our local area. If they're not in season, put them on rotation. Don't eat green beans every week all year long. Take the green beans out, put the broccoli in, have the beets, right? Can some tomatoes. Eat that seasonally available produce and the locally available produce when you can't get it seasonally, right? Lean into flavor, not food. Again, the cheese here. Now, with this, I could take this same dish, take out the pasta, and do it with all chicken, and it would be almost as delicious. Possibilities are endless, right? When you break a recipe. So you're going to find inspiration from safe sources like breakerecipe.com. Maybe you're following other food bloggers. Maybe you have that personal recipe binder. And then you're going to break recipes. You're going to take out the ingredients that don't work for you, add back ingredients that will create the recipe with the same taste, same appearance, so that you can enjoy those foods again. I believe you can do it, and I'm here to help you every step of the way. Have an amazing Saturday. I love you. I believe in you. The possibilities are endless when you break a recipe.